I've spent a ton of time in Need for Speed Unbound, and my relationship with the game is, well, complicated. There are things that I love about the game, and there are things that I hate, and I'm going to talk about both of those today. Let's go! Before I get into the video, if you're an aspiring content creator who's looking to learn a few things about YouTube, and particularly the YouTube gaming space, I just started another channel called Calibrate Gaming. I have not uploaded any content as of this video, but you should subscribe if that's something you want to do and learn from me. I've learned a lot over the last 3 or 4 years creating content, so I'm looking to share that information with you, and I'm one of the only creators who answers every single DM. So if you have questions about those videos or you have questions about YouTube, you can always send me a direct message and I will do my best to answer in a timely manner. All right, let's get into it. So like I said in the intro, my relationship with Need for Speed Unbound is super complicated. There's a part of me that needs to create content because this is how I make a living. And then there's a part of me that actually loves parts of this game. And then there's a part of me that hates parts of this game. And so I really have this complicated love-hate relationship with the game. And so I decided to do a thought experiment. I put down every thought that came into my mind when I thought about the words Need for Speed Unbound. And then I separated those things into things that I loved and things that I hated. And what I'm realizing is that it's pretty equal. There's equal things that I love and equal things that I hate about this game. And so I decided to come up with my top 5 for both of those columns and give you sort of a shorter review on the game. I did a very long 25-minute review. It's in depth. You guys can go check that out. There will be a link in the description. But let's go ahead and get into the things that I love first. And the first thing that I love is the art style. Now I know this is subjective, a lot of you guys don't like it, and there are plenty of you out there that do like it, but I thought it was a risk worth taking for the game and for the franchise. They really haven't done anything like this in a long time. Need for Speeds sort of all look and feel kind of the same, and it got a little bit boring. I'm glad that they went on a limb with this, and I like it. I think there's this weird contrast between these cartoonish characters and the realism in the cars. But again, this is a very subjective list and I'm the subject, so that goes in the love column. The next thing I absolutely love about this game is the burst NOS mechanic. This is something that really changed the entire game. It changes the handling, it changes the way you build cars, it changes the way you drive, it changes your strategy for, trying to get better times on the races. It is absolutely game-changing. It's the center point of everything in the driving experience, and I really appreciate a mechanic like this just because it actually changes the physics of the game. It's just exciting and it makes it feel like you're driving a million miles an hour instead of 100 miles an hour. It's just really something that I haven't seen in other games recently, and I just love the fact that they were able to take something that's been done, an arcade racer, and make it more arcadey and feel better. The next thing that I love is the dynamic between drift racing and grip racing. And if you haven't played the game, you don't maybe know what I'm talking about, but because you can tune your car to 2 different sides of the spectrum, you can tune it 100% to drift or 100% to grip or somewhere in between, it allows you to really fit your own driving style into the game. There's just so much room for different driving styles to take over, and it's really something for everybody. And recently we figured out that drifting is actually super viable, even though the majority of the community is grip racing at this time. We've seen some really crazy times with drift racing. So this is something that really excites me because it adds a lot of depth to the game, and I just appreciate that as well. I love the fact that there's depth in the tuning of these cars, particularly when it comes to drift and grip. And speaking of building and tuning cars, that actually brings me to the next point that I really love about the game, and that is the car tier system. This tier system is very similar to Forza Horizon 5, but I love it. I think it adds a dimension of depth when it comes to building and trying to maximize the power to weight ratios in every single tier, or your torque, your horsepower. Building cars in this game is so much deeper than any other Need for Speed game, and I really appreciate that. I think it's a very strong foundational feature that makes this game more enjoyable. It just makes it to where you have a lot of work to do if you want to find the most optimal version of your car within each of the tiers that you can build it within. I really love this feature. And the last thing on my love list is just racing with a full lobby or a full party. It's absolutely insane, and I can't even describe how it feels. If you haven't raced it, if you haven't played this game and been able to race with a full lobby or a full party, it's just so fun. That's the only way I can describe it. I literally put it on my list and then put question marks after it because I couldn't really put it into words. It's just fun. But speaking of full lobbies and full parties, we need to move on to the things that I hate, and that's one of the first things on my list. The lobby size is 16, and the party size is 4. Races will accept 8 players. Why can't we have 8 in our party, and why can't the lobby be 32 instead of 16? We just need more people. The number of times that I've sent a race invite and only gotten like 2 players to join is crazy compared to the amount of times that I've gotten all 8 players in there to join the race. It just doesn't happen enough. And that is super frustrating because, like I said earlier, when you play with a full 8 in a race, it's just so fun. So I really hope that they can fix that in a future update, along with this other thing that I hate, the economy. The economy in this game is one of the worst economies in any game I've ever played. It is super difficult to earn money, to unlock cars. It's super difficult to build cars because it's too expensive compared to what you get for races. I mean, for a playlist, you get 3 races and you're lucky if you get $30,000. Most of the elite car parts are like 20,000 up to 50,000. So just for one playlist, it takes you like 10 to 15 minutes, and that only gets you 1 part for your car. I mean, you can't even build a car in an hour with the money that you earn. It's just ridiculous for online. For solo, it's a little bit better. I think they sort of got it right, but I still think it could be better. I mean, part of the reason why people play Need for Speed is to customize and build cars. And if you have to grind super hard just to do that, I mean, people are just not gonna play the game. Again, hopefully this is something they adjust with future updates, but as of right now, when I posted this video, it's not very good at all. And speaking of not very good at all, this is the worst game mechanic I've ever seen, the day-night progression cycle in solo. It's terrible. If you go through the campaign and you're done with the campaign, you should be able to go and race whatever race you want, however many times you want, because you're done with the campaign. Why am I locked into a day-night cycle where only certain races are available on certain days? If I want to race Fishhook, I can't if I'm on Monday. I have to go through Monday day, Monday night, Tuesday day, Tuesday night, Wednesday day, Wednesday night, Thursday day. It's available, so I get to race it. Oh, I raced it and I completed it. Now I can't race it again until the next Thursday. It's ridiculous. It's so crazy in a racing game. You can't keep players from doing the things they want to do, especially if the campaign is over. This is literally one of the worst mechanics I've ever seen, and certainly the worst mechanic in this game. I absolutely love Need for Speed Heat's day-night mechanic. I think it's brilliant. I think they should have stuck with the fact that you gain rep at night and money during the day, and they should have just increased the level cap so that there was none, so that you can just keep going and maybe add like a prestige mode with certain badges that can go next to your name like they do in Call of Duty. Something like that would have worked really, really well. It would have just been a little better addition to the Need for Speed Heat system, but instead they made this forced day-night cycle where you have to progress through the week in order to get to a certain race. It's just terrible. And again, speaking of terrible, the drifting in this game is horrendous. It's just so bad. I mean, I'm not talking about drift racing, like that's fun, that's fine, but actual drifting, like going through the drift sections, it's just so hard to do. It's really not enjoyable at all. It's very difficult to build a drift car that actually feels drifty. It's almost impossible to do on a wheel. And it just, I don't know, man, it just feels terrible to drift. It's my least favorite drift racing out of literally any racing game I've played. And I can't get over that. And lastly, on my things that I hate list is all the little quality of life things. So for example, the online race invitation is placed directly over the stats of your car. So if you're building a car or you're taking a picture of your car, it pops up onto the screen. The location is horrible. just put it on the left of the screen. It doesn't need to be on the right where all of that information is. You can't even see what you're building on your car, what your PI rating is when the invitation comes through, and you have no way of accepting or declining it when you're building a car. You have to back all the way out to the menu and then decline it, then go back into do what you are doing. It's just horrible placement, and it's a complete oversight by the devs. It needs to be on the left, and I'm pretty sure they'll fix that, but it's just an oversight, and it's one of those little things that just bugs. Also, why is there politics in the story? In the solo mode, all of the chatter over the radio is all about politics, and I don't care. It's fake politics, but you know that there's real world politics inside of those. They sort of like made the two sides, like the Republicans and the Democrats, and I just hate politics in gaming. I hate politics in life. It's just something that divides people, and so you'll never see me talk about politics on my channel. It's just not something that's supposed to be in the games. Games are for people to escape real life and escape all of these real things that they're thinking about and just have fun. Why is it in the story mode? It just shouldn't be there. Also, there's no speed lists or leaderboards. Now, you could maybe say this was a big thing. I don't know if it's a huge thing, but it definitely would be a very nice quality of life feature that you could add to the game, and then you can just compare your times with your friends' times. It's a racing game. You're supposed to be comparing times, and racing is competitive anyways. So why not put speed lists and leaderboards? Just do it. And the last couple of things I would include in this group of things I don't like is the bugs, the desync, and the AI traffic is absolutely horrible, and then the camera mode. The camera mode doesn't even have the same features that Need for Speed Heat had. Need for Speed Heat's camera mode was already sort of limited, and then they took everything out of there. There's like 4 options you can change in the camera mode. It's terrible. Honestly bad. Hopefully they add more of those things into the game. It really just needs to be on par with Need for Speed Heats. So anyway, hopefully I wasn't too negative on this. I feel like I was. I feel like the whole back half of the video, I just rambled and kept going on things that I don't like, and I'm getting mad with a mad face. Hey, I hate this. You need to fix it. But the reality is, all the things I love about the game keep me coming back. Those things that I hate are frustrating, and a lot of those are fixable. The things I love keep me playing this game, and I hope the majority of you guys out there will stick it out until we get a few updates. I'm hoping that Criterion does the right thing and actually updates this game for a year. This is sort of what they said, that they were going to put out a year's worth of content, and we really haven't seen anything yet, and we're about 3 months in, so I'm hoping that this first update that we see is going to be a killer. I hope that it addresses all of those quality of life issues and maybe adds a little bit of content to multiplayer. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Shout out to all the Heat 5 members of the channel. You guys are literally amazing for supporting. I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.